Hello, fourth graders. Mrs. Coulter again with another math assignment. Today it's called bead strings. You will be looking at various patterned strings of beads and finishing answers and finding answers involving continuing those patterns. There are 3 goals for this activity. Let's take a look at them. Number 1, generate ratios and equivalent ratios. Number 2, you will construct ratio tables to solve them. This one is important and one that you will include for each slide. And 3, you will extend and generalize patterns. There are 2 types of slides in this activity. In this type, you are shown a bead string with a pattern. This pattern is 3 white, 2 black, 3 white, 2 black. So for the whole string, Steve uses 6 black beads and 4 white beads. Now, the next 2 questions are going to relate to this pattern. But before we move on, we're going to complete a ratio table for this information. You may want to complete this on Seesaw, or you can make this with paper and pencil and post a picture to this activity. That works also. But I want to see the ratio table you make for each problem. Now for this problem, we've got the number of strings, the number of black beads, the number of white beads, and the total number of beads. Fill this in across the top as you go. With 1 string, he needs 6 black beads, 4 white beads, so 10 total beads. So if Steve needed another string, how would our numbers change? We'd have to double each one, right? So now he would need 12 black beads, 8 white beads, and 20 total. I'm going to continue filling out my ratio table. So here it is completed. Once you have filled this out, you're going to go back to the last slide. Okay. Question 1 asks, how many more white beads than black beads could Steve use for 4 strings? Now that my ratio table is done, I can just refer to it. Looking at 4 bead strings right here, that's 24 white beads and 16 black beads. So the difference between 24 and 16 is 8. Going back here, question 2, how many bead strings could Steve make with 33 white beads and 22 black beads? Well, going to my table, I see that 5 strings would need 30 white beads and 20 black beads, but 6 would need 36 and 24. So my answer is 5, right here. Okay, toggling back here. Okay, so the last question, if Steve used 70 white and black beads in all, how many bead strings did he use? Referring to my ratio table, I see with a total of 70 beads right here, Steve must have used 7 strings. Okay, my next slide looks similar, but asks slightly different questions. But regardless, I want you to make a ratio table. So looking at my bead string, I count 9 white beads and 3 black beads. So let's fill in our ratio table. Okay, so there we go. So going back here, it says Jerome has 30 white beads and 20 black beads. So using this pattern, how many strings can he make? Well, he can make, without going over 30 white beads, and the most strings he could make is 3, with 27 white beads and 9 black. The next question asks how many beads of each color will be left. Well, you've got 30 minus 27 is equal to 3 white beads left over, and 20 minus 9 is 11 black beads. The next question tells us that Jerome now has 60 beads total and is 5 strings long. Okay. So 60 beads, total beads, is 5 strings long. So that means that 45 beads would be white and 15 would be black. So you can see how helpful your ratio table is going to be and how you're going to need to keep referring to it to answer all of your questions. Again, make sure you include a picture of the ratio tables you make on each slide, whether you do that on Seesaw or you write it down and take a picture. So there you have bead strings. Good luck.